Hello again, my name is Rodney Reynolds and welcome to another video review. Today I will be looking at Swiftech's MCX462 cooler. And this is the cooler. One of the first things you probably will notice is that it is pretty big, and also it is pretty heavy due to the very thick copper base right here. This is a very reflective base, meaning it's very smooth, and also of course you will get good contact between this and the CPU itself. You will notice here that these fins, and there's many of them, are actually ribbed, and this is for better heat dissipation from the copper core on this. Now also of course included with this is all kinds of screws and washers and springs. I will be going through how that all fits together a little later. And also we have a fan. I've picked the Sunon 4.3 watt. The specs on this is 3900 RPMs. It's a 2 ball bearing fan. It's 50 CFMs, and also it's around 40 decibels in noise. Now this cooler does not come from many retailers with fans, so when you buy this you're basically paying for the block itself, and you have an option really to get whatever fan you want to get with the cooler. Before I begin with the installation, I would like to draw your attention here to a regular style cooler. This cooler is a Vantech, and many coolers do come with these easy on, easy off designs. Either 3 on one side, 3 on the other, or 1 on the other side and 1 on the opposite side. These of course are good for easy installation and removal. Now the cooler I'm looking at here today of course has to be mounted directly through the motherboard. You can see here it does come with 2 holes here in this particular board. I'm using the Shuttle AK35, and there's 2 on the opposite side. That is one thing you want to make sure that you actually have these holes in your motherboard before you purchase this cooler. This product comes with 2 bags of materials that you will need to mount this cooler to your motherboard. Right here is the materials that you will need to actually mount directly to the motherboard itself. So this gets installed directly onto the motherboard, and right here are the materials that would be required to be installed actually on the cooler itself. This part of the installation is very important because if it's not followed correctly, you could burn out your CPU. Now there's 4 pieces here. Right here is the aluminum standoff. This goes down through the motherboard. Right here is a plastic nut which goes down underneath the motherboard. Right here we have a nylon shoulder washer, and right here we have a black fiber washer. There's really 3 ways of doing this. The first one is with motherboards that have large holes should actually use the nylon shoulder washer. So this right here plus this, like so. Then down below the motherboard you would screw the plastic nut like so. The other way is motherboards that are not grounded with small holes. They should use the black fiber washer, which is this one, and it would be installed like so right here, and then of course this goes down through the motherboard, and this plastic nut goes installed like this. And finally, if you have a motherboard which is grounded and has small holes, there's actually no need for either of these pieces. You can just of course mount this down through the motherboard, then screw the plastic nut on the bottom. I would recommend to be 100% certain that you have done this installation procedure correctly to visit their website at www.swiftnets.com and download and print off the proper instructions for this cooler. This part of the installation is fairly simple as well. You just have a bolt here. You also have a plastic spacer, a spring, and another plastic spacer. And what happens is that when you put all these together, you end up with this right here. And then, of course, you would place this into the cooler itself, like so, and continue to do all of them. Then place this on top and just screw it on. So once you do have all of them installed, you can go ahead and again screw them down, and of course they would be screwing into the base which you already have installed. Next, just go ahead and anchor the fan. Now the fan actually goes screwed directly into these 4 places right here on the cooler itself, and of course once the fan is affixed and screwed down properly, you're finished. As you can imagine, some fantastic results from this cooler. The test system which I'm using is a Shuttle AK35. The CPU is a Duron 1 GHz at 1.2 GHz. The voltage is set at in the BIOS at 1.85 volts. At idle, I'm getting 28 degrees Celsius. At max load at 1.2 GHz, I'm getting a temperature of 34 degrees Celsius. Really good results from this cooler. I'll give you some other advantages with this cooler. The fact that it has 4 huge installation feet there that goes right through the motherboard and really anchors it really well, so you don't have to worry about it coming off and burning or frying out your CPU. That's one. The second one is the fact that it does do what it's supposed to do. It does cool very, very well. And of course, this kind of a cooler will be a lot quieter than, for instance, an 8,000 RPM little tiny 60mm fan. A lot quieter, which is always good news. Quiet is good, loud is bad. I cannot stand these little tiny 60mm fans which run at like 8,000 plus RPMs. It really, really, truly is almost too much for the ears to take. The drawbacks on this kind of cooler, of course, is that the fact that it is very, very expensive, around $85 Canadian currently without the fan, so it is very, very costly. Also, of course, you have to remove your motherboard from your system when you're installing a cooler like this, so that is a disadvantage as well. But again, if you're in this category of cooler and you want the absolute best when it comes to air cooling, this is not going to disappoint. In saying all that, I give this cooler a 8.5 out of 10. Again, my name is Rodney Reynolds, and this has been another video review. Be sure to check back in a few days. I will have a brand new video review for you then. Also, be sure to check out my website at www.3dgameman.com, and while you're there, check out the forums, because in the forums you can find out more information about this product and about all the products that I video review, and you can go in there and register. Registration is free, and you can leave your own comments and suggestions. Until the next time, take care.